The Pittsburgh Steelers are once again searching for answers following yet another frustrating and bewildering loss, this time falling 31-28 to the Chicago Bears in Week 12. What made the defeat particularly painful for fans and analysts alike was the fact that the defense, a unit that had seemingly turned a corner and appeared ready to stabilize the team, suddenly reverted to the same error-filled habits that defined their struggles earlier in the season, especially during the concerning stretch that began in Week 7. The Steelers now seem trapped in a perpetual cycle of mediocrity, a kind of organizational purgatory in which the team flashes enough potential to keep hope alive but never enough consistency or execution to be considered a legitimate threat. This inconsistency is even more significant considering the state of the AFC in 2025, a conference that is arguably more wide open than it has been in years, with no truly dominant team separating itself from the pack. Despite the opportunity to capitalize on the landscape, Pittsburgh remained stuck in neutral. Insider Mark Kaboly, known for his blunt and realistic assessments of the team, captured the sentiment perfectly in his latest article posted on X. Kaboly did not limit his criticism to the players on the field or the coaches on the sidelines. Instead, he widened the lens and focused squarely on the organization as a whole, stating that the issues plaguing the franchise go far beyond missed tackles, conservative play calling, or questionable roster decisions. They are structural. This is not a defense thing, an offense thing, or a coaching thing, Kaboly said. This is an organizational thing, from top to bottom. Now, could this be an overreaction to yet another head-scratching performance by the Steelers? Typically, I would say yes. But not this time. Not this team. I've seen way too much Steelers football over my lifespan to say that they are what they are, average, with the opportunity to play really well from time to time, which makes you think, what if with this team? Kaboly's critique resonated strongly with fans who feel that the franchise's identity, once synonymous with physicality, aggression, and discipline, has become outdated and ill-suited for the realities of modern NFL football. Players have changed, assistant coaches have changed, even the roster construction approach has shifted at times, but the overarching philosophies and the core foundational principles have remained eerily stagnant. Many believe the organization has clung too tightly to tradition, failing to adapt quickly enough as the game evolves, and that reluctance has created the mediocrity fans are now forced to confront year after year. The growing frustration is compounded by the team's performance this season. After starting the year at an encouraging 4-1, the Steelers have dropped 4 of their last 6 games and now sit at 6-5. The AFC North, long viewed as one of the most competitive divisions in football, has flipped dramatically. Pittsburgh has surrendered its once comfortable lead to the Baltimore Ravens, a team that started the season 1-5 but has since rattled off 5 straight wins. Although the Steelers and Ravens technically share the same record, Baltimore currently holds the tiebreaker, leaving Pittsburgh on the outside looking in. This collapse has plunged much of the fan base into what can best be described as panic mode. The frustration is not simply about the losses themselves but about the way they have unfolded: inconsistent defensive efforts, predictable offensive play calling, and a lack of urgency in critical moments. Many fans feel they have seen this exact movie before, and they are exhausted by the repetition. The road ahead does not offer relief. Pittsburgh faces one of the most challenging remaining schedules in the NFL. They must play the Ravens twice, as well as the Buffalo Bills and the rapidly improving Detroit Lions. Even the so-called easier matchups against the Browns and the Dolphins carry significant risk given the Steelers' current level of play. The team needs just 3 more wins to reach the familiar 9-8 mark, but that record, once celebrated as an example of Mike Tomlin's resilience and coaching consistency, has now become a symbol of organizational stagnation and a target of mockery among Steeler Nation. For some fans, a losing season would be preferable, believing it would force the franchise to finally confront long-ignored issues. To them, failure could be the catalyst for long-overdue structural change. Head coach Mike Tomlin has taken the lion's share of criticism for what many perceive as a stubborn refusal to adapt. Although he appeared to adjust his defensive approach earlier in the season, Week 12 once again exposed concerning tendencies. One of the most heavily scrutinized decisions came late in the second half when the Steelers inexplicably dropped their secondary more than 10 yards off the line of scrimmage on a crucial 3rd and 5. Predictably, the Bears exploited the cushion, moved into field goal range, and ultimately added points that altered the course of the game. Tactical decisions like this have become a recurring talking point among fans and analysts, raising questions about whether Tomlin's defensive philosophies have become outdated or overly conservative. Even more troubling is the offense, which continues to avoid the middle of the field as if it were a danger zone. Despite multiple coordinator changes over the years, the philosophy has remained the same: avoid risky throws between the hashes. While it's true that the middle of the field can be a breeding ground for turnovers, refusing to utilize it limits route combinations, reduces unpredictability, and makes life significantly harder for quarterbacks. What made this approach particularly bewildering in Week 12 was the fact that the Bears were almost entirely depleted at linebacker, the very positions that typically defend those intermediate middle zones. Yet even with Mason Rudolph under center and even with a perfect opportunity to exploit Chicago's weakness, the Steelers continued to ignore that area of the field. The quarterback situation only worsens the broader picture. The Steelers have been in dire need of a true franchise quarterback for several seasons now, but acquiring one seems more difficult than ever. Many fans openly express concern that even if the team finally drafts a highly touted quarterback, Tomlin and his staff may not be the right people to develop him. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's relentless desire to remain competitive year after year, even in seasons when the roster clearly lacks playoff caliber talent, has prevented the organization from accumulating valuable draft capital. They never bottom out, never rebuild, and never take advantage of opportunities to trade assets for high picks. As a result, they now find themselves in a draft cycle where at least 3 other quarterback-needy teams hold multiple first-round picks, including top 10 selections, giving them far more leverage than Pittsburgh could possibly match without a major organizational shift. Pittsburgh's perpetual competitive but not elite status has become a burden. It is the consequence of an organizational philosophy that prioritizes stability above all else, even when that stability produces diminishing returns. The Steelers are not terrible enough to rebuild and not good enough to contend. They exist in the NFL's most frustrating purgatory, capable of competing, never capable of breaking through. As Week 12 demonstrated yet again, the problems are not isolated. They are layered, systemic, and deeply ingrained. The defense makes the same mistakes. The offense repeats the same patterns. The coaching staff clings to the same philosophies. The organization values continuity over evolution. The fans, once patient and proud, are nearing their breaking point. For the first time in many years, it feels like the ground beneath the Steelers is shifting. Change is not guaranteed, but for the first time in a long time, it feels not only possible, but necessary. We really hope the Steelers make real changes to the team. The fans are tired of false hope. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.